Morning, everyone. I want to welcome you to Warren County Fiscal Court, Thursday, June 22nd, 2023. And again, thank you to the City of Bowling Green for allowing us to meet in the City Commission chambers while we're doing some renovations across the street. Pleased to have with us today Pastor Andrew Butler from Near Church, who's going to lead us in the invocation, followed by a pledge to the flag by Esquire Eric Aldridge.
Thank you, Judge. Let us pray. Father, thank you so much for this day. Thank you for the opportunity to gather here together as the leaders of this amazing county. Father, I pray right now for strategy, for wisdom, and guidance from the kingdom of heaven. Lord, your word says that righteousness exalts a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people. And we pray right now that as decisions are made, they be led in righteousness and an excellent spirit. God, I pray your blessing over this meeting. Let your presence go before, surround us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Please stand and face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor Butler. All right, clerk, please call the roll.
Esquire McWhorter. Esquire Lawrence.
Here.
Esquire Aldridge.
Here.
Esquire Lasley.
Here.
Esquire Cummings.
Here.
Esquire Williams.
Here.
I'd like to first start off our meetings with continued condolences and prayers for Esquire Scott Lasley on the loss of his beautiful mother last week, and we have been with them on this journey and here for you. But Scott, we so incredibly sorry for your loss. I want to let everyone know that. All right, our first item is approve the minutes of the fiscal court meeting on June 8th, 2023. Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire Lawrence. Any discussion or corrections? If not, please call the roll.
Esquire McWhorter. Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Item 5 is approve the work schedule for the Warren County Road Department. Motion by Squire McWhorter, second by Squire Aldridge. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Next item, approve the personnel changes for Warren County.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Lawrence, second by Squire Aldridge. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Item 7 is approve second and final reading of ordinance 2342, replacing ordinance 0226 and establishing minimum standards for fire protection in Warren County. Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire Aldridge. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire McWhorter. Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Item 8 is approve second and final reading of ordinance 2343, rezoning property located at 5540 and 5604 Louisville Road from agriculture and multifamily residential to multifamily residential and highway business, containing approximately 14.18 acres, 14.81 acres, and presently owned by A Himalaya USA Holdings, LLC. Motion by Squire Aldridge, second by Squire McWhorter. Question or discussions? Please call the roll.
Esquire McWhorter.
Ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Item 9 is approve second and final reading of ordinance 2344, approving the budget for fiscal year 2023-2024 and a pay order for Warren County. Motion by Squire Lawrence, second by Squire Aldridge. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire McWhorter.
Ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
We'll make one mention on the budget, just for the general public's information. When that budget is prepared by myself and the magistrates and our treasurer, Greg Burrell, it then has to go to the Department of Local Government, who reviews that to review and ensure that especially the revenue sources are correct from the taxing standards, and we get that signed off on So not only do we have to approve that twice to make it official, but it also is looked at from the Department of Local Government, and they have stamped that as well. And that is the process. Sometimes we don't speak about that, but I want to let everyone know that is how it is. It's another safeguard for that. And lastly, one great thing about county government is an instrumentality of the Commonwealth of Kentucky. We do not constitutionally have the ability to overspend our revenues. There will never be no such thing as a negative budget, and so that is one thing the taxpayers and citizens should understand is we're always going to have a balanced and positive budget. Next item up, approve order 2320 reappointing Tim Graham and Christian Volker to the City County Planning Commission.
So move.
Motion by Squire McWhirter, second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
No, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Item 11 is approved determination the amount of $44,215 to Sonco Perimeter Security for the purchase of barricade fencing for Griffin Park. 3 quotes were obtained. This was the lowest and best. Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire Aldridge. Any questions on that discussion? Not, please call the roll.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Item 12 is approved determination the amount of $3,344.80 to Big Red Supply for repair of a Deacon trailer heating unit for emergency management. This is a single source vendor, and I would like to tell you Ronnie Pearson, emergency management staff, is at a statewide conference and training today and tomorrow, but this is for emergency management.
So move.
Motion by Squire McWhorter, second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion or questions on that? Please call the roll.
Esquire McWhorter.
Ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Item 13 is approve the updated 2023 Warren County Administrative Code.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Williams, second by Squire McWhorter. Before we have that, I'll turn this over to Sarah Bessinger, who's with us today from the Warren County Attorney's Office, to go over a few changes that we make to that. Every June, we have to look at that administrative code, and that is the actual, I almost could say the Bible that runs the county government, and so how that goes. So, Sarah?
Thank you, Judge. There were only a few changes this year. One of those changes is to increase the small purchase amount from the statutory small purchase amount from $30,000 to $40,000. So that is now the limit before we have to do bidding. And now the limit that was $1,000 is now $2,500 before we have to get 3 quotes. The $30,000 to $40,000 is a statutory change. All of those changes can be found in Chapter 8. We also included a section about determination forms, so it'll be a little bit extra paperwork, but it will allow all of the departments a way to more easily show that they are following the statutory and administrative procedures. And the last change was adding the assistant treasurer to be able to get his training costs reimbursed. Is that correct? All right, that would be it. Any questions? Happy to answer.
Sarah? Those are all great changes. Again, many of them statutory, but they're a little more effective way to run the business of running Warren County. So excited about those changes there. And Sarah, thank you for the hard work on that, and the magistrates, thank you for the review of that document as well. Did I get a motion? Any other discussion or questions? I did, that's right. All right, please call the roll.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Item 14 is approved determination amount of $12,000 to the City County Planning Commission for a portion of a local match for the Small House Road, Cave Mill Road Corridor Improvement Study. This was agreed upon in March of 2022, but funding component was never approved. I think Mr. Peterson is here. Or Josh, one of the two of you, why don't you just give us an update on that and what that's, I know many of you are familiar with what Cave Mill Road improvements, but.
a study and an engineering kind of feasibility work for an improvement of Cave Mill Road, that corridor between roughly Lost River Cave, where it comes down, there's kind of a Y where it hits the old cave, we used to call the old Cave Mill, the old Small House Road, and then on in towards the mall where the city limits in, and it's already widened with curb and gutter. It's kind of in front of Natcher Elementary. This section of road is actually multi-jurisdictional. Some of it's in the city, then it transitions to the county, and then it transitions back to the city again. And since both entities are kind of at equal stake here, we chose to fund the match for this project, the 20% match, equally. So we split that $24,000 match with the city. It's done through the MPO, all moved through their work plans, and just it was a failure on my end to get this back in for payment. And since the bills are starting to come due, it was I got an invoice from Ben, and I realized we needed to get this paid. So apologize for my shortcoming on that one. But that project's moving along well. There's been some field work done. A group between the Planning Commission, the city, the county, and actually the state are meeting frequently with progress meetings with the consultants, and so we should have some sort of plan together within the next 9 months or so. It's going to be a lengthy study. All right, thanks.
Any other questions for Josh, other than his shortcomings? You mentioned it, so that was good. Motion. You don't have one yet. Squire Cummings, second by Squire Aldridge. Other discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire McWhorter?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley?
Yes.
Esquire Cummings?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams?
Yes.
Item 15, approved determination of the amount of $16,366 to Verdon Clock Company for the repair of the pole clock in front of the courthouse. This is a single source vendor.
So move.
Motion by Squire McWhorter, reluctantly by Squire Aldridge. Mr. Markram?
Good morning.
Morning.
As you're very well aware that this clock is kind of an unusual piece. Verdon's the only one that can make a sort of, I'm gonna call it the guts. So literally this quote is to completely take everything out of the middle of it, put all new electronic works in it, and new hands back on the outside. So it's quite expensive, but as you see, it's a single source vendor. I've tried everywhere in the world to get the old mechanical one repaired. Nobody wants to touch it. So unfortunately, that's the nature of the beast. So please vote yes.
Well,
Well, we made a commitment, a couple years ago to move the clock there, and it's appropriate where it said it's a cool piece, and as much as we hate to spend $16,000, it's also something that we must do.
Judge, I might point out too that the Rotary Club did a lot of investigation when they were celebrating their 100th anniversary in this community, and one of the options at one point was to take the old clock, this is the old clock, where it was, and repair that as our gift to the community. But we found this same situation, that it's not digital. It will be digital. So that's the way to go with this. And Verdon is a good company to deal with, but they are the only ones that will touch their clocks.
good information, Squire Williams. That clock on State Street is very, it's a beautiful piece too. But I do believe this clock that's in front of the courthouse really enhances the beauty of our courthouse. And it's an important component. Sometimes you do have to do maintenance on these things. This should last quite a while, but it's good information. Any other questions or discussion on that? All right, please call the roll.
Esquire McWhorter?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley?
Yes.
Esquire Cummings?
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams?
Yes.
Item 16, approve determination in the amount of $4,477.69 to Capital Cast Stone for assorted memorial stones for the Veterans Courtyard. This is a single source vendor. Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire Aldridge. This morning we did have a Veterans bricklaying ceremony out there. Mr. Markram, maybe you could share with us just a little bit about, yeah, stay in the front row there, James.
Okay, stone. We've been chasing this animal for quite a long time. They're the ones that actually physically make this stone. They are the ones that we've dealt with for years. They were bought by Lee. Lee sold them again. Anyway, we finally got it back to the guy that originally was part of that. They're now going to cast us the pieces, but do a minimal order. It's I think it's like a pallet of the little bricks. There's 20 of the 16 by 16 and 20 of the 24 by 24. So we'll have a pretty good stock that we then, once somebody purchases a stone, we'll take it and have it engraved, and then we'll go through the ceremony past that. But they're waiting for me to say yes before they can actually start the process of making these stones, and then we'll go from there. So once again, please vote yes.
And thank you, James. And Crystal, what is the price that we charge on those different sizes?
For the small bricks, they're $100. The 16 by 16 will be $1,000, and the 24 by 24 will be $1,500.
And this is not I have no problem saying it's definitely not a money maker for the county. We have cost involved with that, the upkeep and maintenance. But again, it probably is a great thing for the rest of the public to understand. One of the most hallowed, in my mind, one of the most hallowed grounds that we have in all of Warren County is that Veterans Courtyard right across the street. And I think we are obligated to maintain the beauty and the historic value of that. So James, thank you for the hard work. It is not a regular stone you can just buy for that, so. All right, have a motion on that, okay. Any other question or discussion? Please call the roll.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Item 17, approved determination amount of $4,595.30 to Executive Elevator for repairs to elevators number 1 and 6 at the Warren County Justice Center. Executive is the contracted vendor. Motion by Squire Aldridge, second by Squire Cummings.
Questions?
What's wrong with them?
Well, let's see, one had a board bad. 6 ended up being a strip on the sensor as you go in the door. We actually have an elevator that we're waiting on a complete board rebuild that's still not been asked for to repair. But a lot of this stuff is so unique that they have to either send it off or to get it redone. Elevators are one of those animals that you can't have any control over. They spend a lot of time working on them, and unfortunately, it's $200 an hour minimal, and it is what it is. So,
Kind of like everything you touch, James, is expensive.
I know it's kind of got that rhythm to it, doesn't it? Sorry. Yeah. I'm so sorry, fellas.
Any other? No, it's part of obviously extremely important, and
I'll cut as much as I can. But I can't touch that.
we want to do it. We want to do it the right way for sure for the general public. Any other questions or discussion? Please call the roll.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Item 18 is approved determination amount of $1,371.60 to Wayne Jones Body Shop for repair of a Ford F-250 owned by Emergency Management. EMS was not at fault. The other party's liability insurance has paid for this repair. We did get 3 quotes, and this was the lowest and best quote. Motion by Squire Lawrence, second by Squire Williams. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire McWhorter. Esquire Lawrence. Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Item 19 is approve the updated 2023 Policy and Procedure Manual for Warren County Sheriff's Department. Motion by Squire McWhorter, second by Squire Cummings. Discussion or question?
Y'all take time to read all 600 and something pages? I did, so thank you for good reading, Sheriff.
Yeah, I made the mistake. I started on a computer, printed out, took it home. I was brought right back the next day and put it right on a computer, so it's good. But again, to that point, I think sometimes we probably take for granted, we don't realize each department, but especially our jail, our sheriff, Public Works, all of them have so many procedures they have to go through. And we appreciate the professionalism from the Sheriff's Department each and every day. Things that they do, it also, to be quite honest with you, keeps everyone accountable. And that's what accountability, I think, is one of the keys to life. And so thank you for that hard work and the change they've made. Question or discussions? Please call the roll.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Next item, approve determination amount of $3,030.73 to Barron County Business Supply for Public Works Office Furniture. This is state price contract. Motion by Squire Aldridge, second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire McWhorter. Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Item 21, approve the May 2023 Treasurer's Report. Motion by Squire McWhorter, second by Squire Lasley. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire McWhorter. Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Item 22 is approve and award the following yearly materials bids for 23-24. 2301 is aggregate materials, Martin Marietta. 2302 is emulsified asphalt, Asphalt Materials, Inc. 2303 is metal drainage pipe, Hagen and Stone, Bowling Green Steel. 2304 is signs, Econo Signs. 2305 gasoline and diesel fuel, Valor Oil. 2306 tree trimming, Runners Tree Service, Willis Tree Service, and Greenwood Tree Service. 2307 Bituminous Asphalt, Scotty's Contracting and Stone. And 2308 Drywell Services, T&T Contracting, and T&B Drilling. I have a motion by Squire Aldridge, second by Squire McWhorter. Discussion or questions? Please call
Josh,
the roll.
I know everything's gone up. I'm just curious, you know, on this, was there a percentage kind of consistent around, or was it just everything was different based on the actual product?
A little different. Our asphalt paving this year, our resurfacing amount is essentially flat. It's actually like 20 cents a ton cheaper. Looking at some of the other bid items on that resurfacing bid, some are up 50 cents, some are down $2. So they were essentially flat. I did make a few notes. Our stone, our aggregate material, the stuff that we purchased most frequently was up about 6 to 8%. Our metal pipe, which we buy a lot of, some of our smaller sizes were up just 3 and 4%, but some of our larger pipes, you know, when you get to 24, 36 inches, some of them are up 30 to 60%. So some of our larger metal pipe has went up. Looking at the other stuff, I mean, most of them varied. All of our road signs actually came down a little bit. I mean, they're you know, within 1% or 2 lower, which is good. Overall, I think we're probably about in the same position we were last year. Definitely on the paving number, we kind of basically we've got what we got from last year. The other ones, it'll just depend on kind of our needs throughout the year. Although we did place an order under the lower price on our metal pipe and got it delivered the other day, so that we've kind of got a stockpile running into this next fiscal year. Hopefully, we won't have to dig into that line item as much. So, if you've got any other questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
I appreciate all of our valued vendors that bid on this work. It makes a difference for us to have that relationship with them, so thank you for bidding on that as well. Any other discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Item 23 is approve the annual standing order for fiscal year 23-24. Motion by Squire Aldridge, second by Squire Lawrence. And again, for the general public as well, our standing order is for the ability for the county to pay recurring debt service, utility payments, et cetera, without having to go to fiscal court, things that are budgeted and approved also by the DLG, but those are things that we, in the essence of time, cannot wait between meetings that we have due dates on. So those are items that we know exactly what they are when they come in. Any other question or discussion? Please call the roll.
Esquire McWhorter.
Ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Item 24 is approved first reading of ordinance 2345, rezoning property located at 0 Del Rio Drive and 0 Hilltop Road from agriculture to residential estate containing approximately 41.0668 acres and presently owned by 1502 Weston LLC, care of Craig Wickman. Motion by Squire Aldridge, second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire McWhorter. Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Item 25 is approve the resolution 2312, reappointing Greg Burrell as Warren County Treasurer under the provision of KRS 68.1014.
So move.
Motion by Squire, a strong motion by Squire Lawrence. Motion second by Squire McWhorter. Are there any questions or discussion on this?
Other than he talks too much, he's done a great job for Warren
Turns
County.
red when he talks. That's
That's good. I will say I appreciate Greg's professionalism and his hard work for the county. Working with him on the budget is a great thing, and his understanding of all things. And he's also making some changes in his office as well that I appreciate to make them more effective. So, all right, please call the roll.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Just barely.
That has to be done, by the way, each administration, so people are probably wondering about that, but that's another statutory requirement. Item 26, approved determination amount of $2,015.85 to Delbert's Body Shop for repair of a Ford Explorer for Drug Task Force that was struck by a deer. This is the lowest and best quote. Mr. Loving, I only know the story, so I'd like for Tommy to share it with everyone because I want to see if he says the same thing twice.
Sir, well, for the earlier inquiry, Magistrate Lawrence, it was a fatality for the deer. Like I said,
I hate to hear that.
the damage concerned me more initially, but I did look into that. And this was early in the morning, driving down a rural road, and the deer actually ran in to the truck and hit the left front bumper and fender right there on the corner. So he spared us the door and the grill, but I would recommend Delbert's. We had 3 bids, round numbers 3,400, 2,900, and then Delbert's 2,015.
Like an easy choice.
Sir?
Looks like an easy choice which one to choose.
Oh, yeah, it worked out. It was, the bad thing, it's below our deductible, which Greg will tell you saves money, and I'm confident it does, but every now and then we've got to eat one of these, so. Thank you, Judge.
Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire Aldridge. Please call the roll.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Item 27 is approve the 2023 budget amendment for the Warren County Sheriff's Department.
Move.
Motion by Squire Aldridge, second by Squire McWhorter. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire McWhorter. Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Item 28 is approved budget transfers for Warren County. Motion by Squire Aldridge, second by Squire McWhorter. Of course, we're at the end of the fiscal year, and this is when we have to do these before June 30th for sure. Any other question or discussion? Please call the roll.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Item 30 is approve interfund transfers for Warren County. Oh, I did skip 29. Let me back up. Thank you, Mayor Crystal. Approve Resolution 2312, which is a budget amendment for Warren County. Let's go to that, 29.
So move.
Motion by Squire Lasley, second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Now, item 30, approve the interfund transfers for Warren County. Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion. Please call roll.
Esquire McWhorter.
Ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Item 31 is approve a memorandum of agreement between the Warren County Parks and Recreation and the Barren River Area Development District to expand senior service programming. This is no cost to Warren County. Mr. Comer, would you like to come forward and talk about that before we vote on it?
Yes, sir. This will be a great partnership with Brad. This will enable us to expand our senior programs at no charge. They're actually going to pay for Catrice Turner, our senior center manager, to get trained, as well as some other staff on Tai Chi, cardio drumming, different things like that we'll be offering to the senior population, not only at Ephraim White, but hopefully at other parks locations throughout the county. So we are also working with Brad on various grant opportunities with Haley Penrod. There is a grant that we were awarded back around Christmas, which is under final review through the National Park Service, and we're very hopeful to make an announcement on that here in the next several weeks up to a month. So.
I know each of the magistrates has at one time or the other heard from constituents about additional senior center activities and things, and so I'm so happy that you guys have taken a lead on this and also working with Brad to do it. So it's just another enhanced quality of life thing that we can do here in Warren County, so thank you for that service. Any questions of Chris? Okay. Get a motion on that? Motion by Squire Aldridge, second by Squire McWhorter. Please call roll.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Item 32 is approved determination in the amount of $1,299 to Amazon for department-wide Amazon online business account. This is an annual subscription to allow all departments to get the business discount rate through Amazon. Motion by Squire Williams, second by Squire McWhorter. Any questions? Please call roll.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Item 33 is approved determination in the amount of $11,117.50 to Manhattan Capital Group for reimbursement of 1/3 total legal fees due. This is for rezoning of the Warren County Downtown Economic Development Authority and the RAP Downtown Bowling Green. And I will tell you, this was as most of you know, Block 6. The RAP is owned by the TIF Authority. The parking structure is owned by Warren County, and the front part of it is owned by Manhattan Capital Group, which is the gentleman that owns Sky Property, who are getting ready to build a 5-story apartment complex. This is somewhat of a complex plat design because all three of those properties butt up against each other and they overlap, and so this was everything that was involved with the attorneys to change that legally so that there are 3 separate pieces of property and that everyone understands where their boundary lines are. So as Mark Twain said, if it weren't for lawyers, we wouldn't need any. But that's no offense, Sarah, but that's what my daughter married one too. It's a tough one to swallow, but it is important, and now this paves the way for that construction to finally start at the front part of our parking structure.
Motion.
Motion by Squire McWhorter, second by Squire Williams. Discussion or question? Please call roll.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Last item, will the treasurer please report the claims?
General Fund, $900,960. Road Fund, $80,204. Jail Fund, $501,481. Stormwater Fund, $73,690. E911 Fund, $13,631. And Fed Forfeiture Fund, $223. Be happy to answer any questions.
Motion to pay the claims.
Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire McWhorter. Please call the roll.
Esquire McWhorter.
Ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Right? Hightower?
I just want to let y'all know, they are currently working on the door lock system at the courthouse. I know a few of y'all might have got locked in yesterday afternoon, but they are currently working on that to rectify whatever issue caused that. So hopefully that'll be done here in the next hour.
Sheriff conveniently had an appointment at 3:30 outside the courthouse. As soon as he left, all the doors locked, and you could not exit the courthouse. And so
Everybody need to work a little bit longer.
they worked a little longer, and I appreciate their service to Warren County. There'll be no overtime paid or anything like that. They're just,
It's always something.
but no, it is always something, but we appreciate that. Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank y'all.
All right, Mr. Comer?
Judge in court, I like to travel with friends in packs, so I wanted to introduce today Lindsey Jackson. Lindsey is our downtown maintenance manager, and then Tate Haynes. He is our downtown maintenance laborer and supervisor. If you've been around downtown, I think especially around Skypack, the courthouse, all the different properties we maintain, that you're going to see a huge difference in the landscaping and how things are looking. And we have a level of professionalism and experience with these two that we haven't had within this division in a long, long time. So we are truly blessed to have Lindsey and Tate on the team. The second thing is they were directly involved. We have an 11:30 lake dedication of Basil Griffin Park. We're going to rename the lake after the first Parks and Rec director of Warren County in 1968, Jesse Thornton. So we invite everybody on court, everybody in the community to come out and visit that dedication. It begins at 11:30. Please enter from the Small House Roadside, the back entrance of the park, right adjacent from Holy Spirit Catholic Church. And again, a huge thank you to Lindsey and Tate. They were out actually working in front of the courthouse this morning, and they're doing a great job. So just want to let you know who they are.
Several people in the community mention of the difference it's made, so we can't thank you enough for your dedication, your professionalism. It really has made a tremendous difference. And again, there is no such thing as too much beauty in the world, and so I appreciate more than I can tell you the effort that you're putting in to make this community much better. So thank you so much for that. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Mr. Moore? Hello, Holly Warren, Contractors Licensing Board. Thank you. Everything going good in your world? Elevator works? Thanks, James. Okay. All right, Tommy? You brought Todd. See, we were all nervous when Todd showed up. We actually thought there might be a bust right here in the courtroom, so that's good. All right, thank you for the hard work there. Mr. Peterson? All good in your world? Mr. Markram? All right. Squire McWhirter?
I have a daughter that's 29 years old today. Morgan.
Morgan.
Yay. Can't believe it.
I can't believe it either. She's perfect.
Getting older.
Yeah,
Thank
she
goodness.
is. She's fantastic. So happy birthday to Morgan. That's awesome.
Thank you.
That's right.
Wants meatloaf.
That's what she wants, meatloaf
Yeah,
for
meatloaf.
birthday? Well, it's a low bar, but I bet you can handle it, so that's good. So, all right. I mean, you've actually done a pretty good job if your daughter only wants a meal for her birthday, so that's good. So, yes, Squire Aldridge.
It's time for another of our community events. We will be having one next Thursday, the 29th, at 6 p.m. This one will be at the Barren River Volunteer Fire Department, Station 1 over on Jenkins Road. Encourage any department heads or other officials that'd like to come out and join us. Be a great time of barbecue and homemade ice cream and just getting to know our neighbors and those in the community.
Fantastic. Squire Cummings.
I got a happy birthday. My youngest child turned 16 this past week, and the 17th, and he had an amazing day. And his siblings are jealous because for the first time, we've always done hand-me-down cars for all my other kids. Well, he got a new vehicle, Saturday, so he was happy, and now I'm fighting the rest of them for future
that
stuff.
helps with
But happy
family unity.
Matthew. Those who don't know Matthew's autistic. He's
Yeah.
a very high-functioning, great kid. So.
Nice.
Special happy birthday to him. Just keep in mind, I'll send out to everybody the calendar for the Boyce Community Center. Is going to be having their summer events of stuff. There's something basically every month on a Saturday And it's always the third Saturday of the month, so come out and participate in those. And I also want to thank those who reached out to me. And, I recently was in the hospital for a toe issue, and thank goodness they got that thing under control, and I'm good and on the mend. And but those who 63 years old, I'd never been in the hospital before, so this was a rare experience for me. So I'm humbled by it, but also thankful that the doctors were able to get me fixed. So
That could have gone the wrong way, so thankful for those prayers. Would you consider yourself a good patient?
no, in fact,
We can take
they
a vote
said-
on that right now. So.
I was not, because I'm not a patient, man, but they were very gracious with me and actually let me out of the hospital for 6 hours so I could go do some work at the office to pay some vendors, so forth. Seriously, they released me 6 hours. I got to go work and come back.
There's a special prayer for those nurses that had to deal with you, so that's good. Hey, but we're thankful for that, Ron. That's great. So, Squire Williams?
Since we're talking about birthdays, my youngest daughter celebrated a birthday this week as well, so, and I didn't get by with just meatloaf.
I was going to say, that's great. Squire Lawrence?
Yeah, Judge, I just wanted to send out a prayer to the sheriff and to his mom and family. I know they're going through a lot right now, and I just hope the best happens as it possibly can.
Squire Lasley?
I'd like to thank everybody for the kind words and support over the last couple of weeks. And I'd really like to thank Chris and all the folks at Parks and Recreation for their work culminating in today's dedication at 11:30, where they are naming the lake after Jesse Thornton. And I do encourage folks to come on out. Thanks.
And again, continued prayers for you. And I do want to thank Squire Lasley. He is one that's did a lot of the research and was behind the idea of naming this lake for Mr. Thornton. So I think it's a great thing to honor people that came before us that made such a difference in the community. So thank you, Squire Lasley, for that as well. Treasurer Burrell?
Thank you, Judge. Looking forward to serving another 4 years.
That's the most he's spoken
That's
to you,
it.
so.
That's where I'm at.
Sometimes that's for the best, though. That's good. Sarah, thank you for coming today. Have anything to share with us?
No, thank you, Judge.
I'll put you on the spot there. You can give us a quick update, however, on the reapportionment committee and where they stand and maybe what the next steps are.
Yeah, they have met twice. I went to the last meeting. They looked like they got through about 3 of the districts. Of course, these are not finalized maps by any means, but they're working well together, and it looks like it's going to come together in the next couple meetings.
Great. And I think, again, on that, very quickly on that reapportionment, that will do their best to have each of the 6 districts have very close to the same number of constituents in all those. It looks like that'll be in the 22 to 23,000 constituent range per magisterial district. So, and I do like to remind you of that. If you look at county populations, there is, out of 120 counties, there's 30 or 40 that have less than 20,000 total residents in the entire county. So each of these magistrates have a pretty big piece of property and a lot of responsibility. I appreciate their hard work, but I do appreciate the reapportionment committee. And again, just so there's no misunderstanding, they will make a recommendation that will go to fiscal court. Fiscal court will then discuss that in detail, and then fiscal court will vote on it. The recommendation is not the final. Fiscal court is the final arbiter of what those districts look like. Crystal?
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you for the hard work. I want to thank Lacey, Joy, and Crystal for shifting everything to City Hall. It is a lot of things. Sheriff, did you take that down the fire escape today? Did you take the, okay.
No, thankfully the door's unlocked right before I need to go out.
Crystal was worried she was gonna have to lug the speaker system down the fire escape, and she was already getting ready to do some type of workers' comp claim or something for the county. So I'm glad you unlocked the doors, so we got that squared away.
I do want to suggest anybody that's not been up to the courthouse and see the update. It looks, amazing what's happening so far, and we'll look forward to get back home. But what's been done so far looks really, really good. I think they're making great progress. The carpet is going to be the last thing that goes down with those chairs.
So our anticipation is was it 27th, 28th? We have a July 12th meeting, I think, here. Sorry, I'm not looking at the calendar, but our next meeting will be here at City Commission Chambers. The following one, the second one in July, we are anticipating we could have it back at our home, and we'll look forward to that and look forward to celebrating that up there with everyone as well. Couple quick announcements again. As Squire Lasley mentioned, 11:30 today, we are having a dedication ceremony for the Basil Griffin Park Lake, named after Jesse Thornton, our first director of Parks and Recreation for Warren County. That ceremony will start at 11:30 sharp, and we'll have that going on there. One quick announcement that for the Kiwanis Thunderfest is Saturday, July 1st at the National Corvette Museum at the amphitheater there. There'll be activities all day long, starting at 3 o'clock that day, so please come out for a community-wide fireworks celebration. And if you're needing a hookup or anything on Jelly Roll tickets, Eric Aldridge has those, and so he'll be exciting times in Warren County, so that's good. So is there anything else that needs to come before the court this morning?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Squire Lawrence to adjourn. We are adjourned.